Alright guys, welcome into the only Dune Spice Wars guide you're going to need to be a Grandmaster Dune Spice Wars player with the champ, Cream the Legend. Today we're going to do a Vernius run through with you guys. So this was a game on Vernius that I played. I think it was a pretty straightforward win, and I'm just going to walk you through the faction. As far as counselors goes, if you're really trying to play meta, you really want to go Bolig and Bronzo. And what Bolig allows you to do is he allows you to build multiple main base buildings in the same row, and that's going to really speed up your research. And then Bronzo allows you to expand faster and allows you to use your furthest node as an airfield. So let's just get into the game. Um, and here we go. So essentially with Vernius, you don't necessarily need to capture your spice field to harvest from it. They're much like Fremen in that respect. And in this case, I may decide to capture it, I may not, I don't know, but let's just see what happens. And then you kind of, when you're spawning, you want to plan out your nodal network. So in this case, I decide to capture my spice field, and I build my first node, and I do my tech tree, and I'm going straight for holistic thinking, which is the T3 blue on the right. Then I think I'm going to go capture my Plascrete region, and I do. And with Vernius, like your early game composition is going to be suboid soldiers. Now Vernius is very weak early game because suboid soldiers are probably the worst unit in the game. They're extremely weak, but they don't have any upkeep. Okay, and Vernius is unique in the sense that their army costs Solari to make as opposed to manpower because they're primarily made from mech units. So as Vernius, your goal is to get to 5,000 hegemony as soon as possible. So ideally you capture two normals, a special, and attacks, and that'll get you to 5,000. And with since you're playing Bronzo, you want to stack up 2,000 Solari and 1,000 Plascrete by the time you get to your first main base building. So you can build two main base buildings right away. Because if you're playing, I'm sorry, if you're playing Bolig, you can do that. So we are capturing our second village. You have to be careful in the way that you expand as Vernius, and you can see I'm building my nodes. And actually what I decided to do to make it more optimal is you can see I dropped my spice field, which isn't the most optimal thing you do. Ideally, you want to scout out around the map first and like kind of like plan out your expansion. But you don't want to wait too long to capture your first village because if you're delaying capturing your first village, you're delaying your research, right? Um, and so I decided to drop my spice field. I grab a fuel cell, which is extremely important because you need a lot of fuel cells with Vernius because you're playing primarily a mech army in the late game. And I capture a Plascrete, which is essential to get my main base buildings out. And then I'm just going to pillage everything around me. And you see I'm just spamming out suboids. I'm building nodes and Plascrete buildings. I see Mount Idaho to the west, but I don't necessarily want to go there because the Fremen is there. And if the Fremen really wants to in the early game, he can put his thumb down my throat and pretty much just keep me locked in, if not straight up kill me if nobody decides to bail me out because Vernius in the early game is extremely weak. So I'm expanding away from the Fremen. I'm going to be pillaging around my main. I'm using my main base turret to capture these enemy units within the range so that they do damage because the subway soldiers are extremely weak. And I'm going to probably pillage or capture another village here soon. I see Spacing Cruiser on the wreck, but like spawn wise, not a great spawn. Like I don't have an immediate special in my back pocket behind me, so I have to take risks and expand beyond my main with a Fremen neighbor. Now, like I don't know how competent this Fremen was. I think if I remember correctly, he wasn't that competent, but so I took some risks. Now in this case, there's a spice field to my west, so I'm going to capture that. Vernius can harvest from spice fields as long as there's a noted region touching that spice field. So I'm going to capture this. This is a risky capture because look how far away the area is from my main base. So I can't use my main base turret to defend this region. So if I was a Fremen player and I was looking at a Vernius doing that, that's a free liberation for me, and that also prevents Vernius from getting to 5k hedge. Now, when Vernius gets to 5,000 hedge, two things happen. Number one is they unlock patents. So if they research a tech before somebody else researches that tech, they can patent that tech, and it costs the other players money to research that tech. And then the other thing that happens is that they can skip a tech. So, for example, if you're researching a T1 green and you want to go down all the way to 4, you can skip the 2 in between and go straight to 4. And that's what you really want to do on Vernius. Every Vernius main player will tell you as soon as you get to 5,000 hedge, you rush border defenses. With Vernius, border defenses is unique in the sense that their nodes, these little purple things, they become kind of like turrets, and they get a 2 free mech defensive militia. And so a full Vernius militia with regular militia and the mech militia is 5 units underneath the node. Vernius is an extremely difficult faction to break once they start bunkering with nodes and border defenses and missile turrets. It becomes almost impossible to do it by yourself, and you usually have to team up with the lobby or have a capital ship to tank a lot of that damage. So Vernius, they kind of grow like a cancer. To um, they're very hard to break if you let them expand. So there's a couple of theories on how you play Vernius and how you play against Vernius. Number one is how you play them is you offer everybody truces. The reason why everybody wants your truces is because if they're truced with you as Vernius, they get access to all your tech without researching it. So it might behoove some late game scaling factions to get a lot of tech early that they would normally not have to truce Vernius. To play against Vernius, you have to keep in mind that if they're your neighbor and they are allowed to expand freely toward you, they can oppress you pretty good. And they match up extremely well pretty much against everybody except, I would say, Hark Smuggler and if a heavy weapon squad, heavy army of Atreides and Carino can do well against them with one composition. But again, like if they have their full mech army, they're fighting under turrets and they're expanding where their villages are overlapping like they are here, even the factions that match up well against them are going to have an incredibly tough time. Okay, so I get my second harvester out, and now I have here you can see I got my first main base building. I have an extra 1,000 plascrete and another 1,000 solari, so I'm gonna start my second main base building. Uh, which let me just double check, make sure I did that. One. Okay, I was missing Solari, so not super optimal there. You really want 2,000 Solari. But I'm going to pillage and I'm going to get that as soon as possible and start my second main base building while my first one is building, I hope, because that would be the best way to do it. There's another spice field down here. Each of their harvesters costs, I think it's like either 600 or 800 Solari, so they are expensive, but they're worth to get early because one of the techs that they can get that's Vernius unique is called Spice Labs, and that gets you more research as Vernius in the early game per spice harvester that you have. Now, with Vernius, why you want to rush to holistic thinking, which is a tier 3 blue tech on the right, is because it allows you to buy the thinking machines, which come from your like spying logistics tech. It's your tier 2 blue tech on the right. So for each thinking machine that you have in each one of the information slots in Arrakis, is going to give you +1 knowledge. Now, a good Vernius is going to have like +25 knowledge in month, like at the end of like month 2. And that's going to be from the thinking machines. Just be careful because the thinking machines cost Solari and they cost Landsrad. So it's okay to go in the Landsrad pits down to like 150. But you want to give out as many truces as you can so that you gain as much Landsrad as possible while you're sinking your Landsrad buying thinking machines, but you're gaining knowledge. So you're going to be buying thinking machines, you're going to be sending out truces, you're going to be trying to stay alive, you're going to be pillaging the villages that you want with your suboid soldiers, and you're going to be trying to rush the border defenses, and you're going to be trying to research tech before everybody else so you can patent it, so you can get your patents down, you get your main base buildings down, and you're going to be trying to get your harvesters out. So you're doing like a very fine dance between, you're definitely not going to be buying Solari early unless you're doing some kind of chome strat with Vernius, which this game was not, right? So again, pillaging what I can, planning out my expansion, taking a huge risk by expanding away from my main with Fremen being there. But you can see I went I went thinking, holistic thinking into lay of the land, and now I'm gonna get some red and some yellow tech, and then I'm gonna rush the border defenses when I get my 5,000 hedge bonus. I can see up there is a volcano. It's a very good region for Vernius. You can see how weak the suboids are against the Fremen Liberator. So I think I rushed the tier 2 yellow on the left, and then I'm getting my red tech. Now, if you don't have fuel cells with Vernius, it's not the end of the world. Their tier 2 red tech on the left is called water batteries, and water batteries allows you to convert water into fuel. So it's good. Fremen actually ends up sending me a truce, which was interesting. So I ended up taking a truce with Fremen, and I'm just continuing to try to get to 5k as soon as possible. It's a really bad spawn. I don't have a readily available special to capture, so I'm just lurking toward 5k really good as fast as I can. Now, Vernius has a unique unit called a Flight Engineer, and these guys are like the backbone of your army. They don't do damage, but they heal your army. So when you get a Flight Engineer out, you want to try to vet them up as fast as you can. And they have an upgrade in their armory that allows them to get vetted up fast. You should probably go with that upgrade early. I don't know if I do or not in this game because I think this was like really late and I was really tired. But I'm continuing to build out my node network. I'm harvesting off of 2 spice fields. I select the upgrade on my suboid soldier that gives them no upkeep, and I continue to build my next main base building. And now I get truces from ECADs, which is good. It's going to help my Landsrad that I've tanked, because you can see my Landsrad right now. Um, can we see it from here? I don't think we can actually. So my Landsrad right now is 209. So I'm staying above 200. I'm staying above 200. Thanks, Johnny. And I'm capturing this spice field just because I want to continue to build my nodal network south, which is kind of like, there's a fuel cell there, the spacing cruiser wreck is there, and I'm going down. And Bronzo allows you to expand really fast. He cheapens the cost of your furthest regions. So I have one flight engineer out, which I believe I got from a quest. I'm trying to keep these suboids up, and I'm continuing to expand, build my nodal network out. I've got my 3rd spice harvester out, and hopefully I can get some patents down. So it costs 600 to patent something, and what I want to do here is I think I want to like eventually take spacing cruiser wreck. So I'm seeing if I can put a bunker there. I can patent that tier 2 on the right, which is like an amazing tech to patent because everybody needs those techs. So I cancel my space harvester, and I'm trying to patent my tier 2 on the right. I'm at 6.1k hedge, and I really need to start rushing border defenses here. I can't so somebody rushed tier 4 yellow, and I can't patent it. So now I'm gonna get my border defense, and I think I did patent space the tier 2 on the right, the red on the right, which is great because now I can basically patent that whole tree. So how it works with Vernius is if the main trees you want to patent are the tiers of yellow on the far left and the tiers of red on the far right. And as soon as you see, it'll give you a notification that somebody's bought your patent. You can stop whatever you're doing and research the one that's beneath that, because you should have way more knowledge than they do at this point of the game. I'm cooking 34 knowledge at the end of month 2. That's a lot. Nobody's even close to me. So if I see that somebody has bought the tier 2 red on the right, I can just stop whatever I'm researching, get the next one, and then go back to what I'm doing, and I'll get paid for each time somebody buys that patent. It does cost me Solari to do that, but the reward is worth it. So because I have water batteries, I'm able to max out my harvesters, the tier 2 red on the left, and I managed to patent chome support, and you can see I'm researching automated defenses. Now once you get to automated defenses as Vernius, you can like kind of almost take a sigh of relief, provided that you expanded your villages safely, which I did not in this game because I think the Fremen player just he was not up to snuff. And I'm continuing to pillage. And now with 4 spice harvesters out, I've got great Solari. One way to, and you can see my main base building right there. I got Spice Labs, which is giving me +2 knowledge per spice harvester. So that's 8 knowledge right there. I've got Research Center, and I've got Admin Hall. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build them out kind of like in a rainbow here. It's gonna be like a yellow, a blue, and a red, yellow, blue, red. And for each one of that, because of Bolig, I'm gonna get +1 knowledge again. So uh, you can definitely go full rainbow and then rearrange them at the end of the game after you got all of your essential techs, and that way you get your triple district bonus. Or you can just build them outright without rearranging them later, although you will not be using the full like power of Bolig. Either way is fine. Um, the more advanced players will go full rainbow. So you can see what I did as I put my command post there. So that's going to be more rainbow stuff coming out. And I'm just going to continue to pillage and continue to grab regions. And so far this game is going really well. I made it out of the early game, and I'm continuing. I got border defenses, and I'm continuing down the red tree. And ideally, I'm gonna be able to patent the entire right side of the red tree here, and get paid, and make everybody else, pay. Because this is still pretty early, right? So Solari's pretty important. I think I cancel my command post because for some reason I just feel like I checked the spice exchange rate and it's going to be a lot higher next tax, and I just like don't feel any pressure here at all. So I don't feel like I need military early. Somebody just bought the patent for me for the red tech, and so I'm going down. I got border defenses. um, I probably should have taken that truce from Hark. I got border defenses, and now I'm gonna try to patent the entire red tree with my 36 knowledge. And you can see now it's 39 as I'm adding thinking machines to each spot. And I'm sacrificing some Landsrat for that. My Landsrat is at 169, but it's okay because I have truces, and for every Landsrat council that happens, I should probably regain like a significant amount of Landsrat. I've maxed out my Spice Harvester's manpower. I'm making a good amount of money, and now I'm thinking like my suboids. I'm thinking like I want to start building out some mechs here because I'm gonna have to take some fights. And for village build out, like you want a lot of plascrete. You don't need too much manpower with them. You want some to get suboids and militia and fight engineers, but your main concern is Solari because your army is mech. So whenever your army takes damage, it costs Solari to rebuild it, and then whenever your army needs to be resupplied, aka rebuilt, you're gonna pay Solari to build that army. So having spice as Vernius is essential. Like for some reason one of my spice harvesters isn't harvesting yet, and it's because I haven't built a node there yet. And you can see I've patented the entire right side of the tech tree there. So once that node completes, I'm going to be harvesting from 4 spice fields, and I patented the entire red tree. And now I'm thinking about like getting rid of other people's tech, and that's why I break truce with Fremen here. I want to kill that harvester down there, and I want to be the one to harvest from that spice. I really need to make sure that all my harvesters are harvesting, because now that that node has completed up north, I need to harvest there. And now the node is building, I think, right? I don't know why I didn't build a node there yet. A little suboptimal play there. Maybe I was a little distracted. But I broke truce with Fremen. I've got border defenses, so I'm not really worried about him um, attacking my villages. And now I'm getting tier 2 green called Neural Tropism. This unlocks a unique Vernius building in the main base that gives you power, that gives you knowledge and fuel cells for each nodal region. And I'm breaking truce with ECAS. I'm pretty much done with needing truces with people. Although my Landsrad's a little low, I could have maybe waited until I got my Landsrad higher. Again, I really need to make that harvester start harvesting up there. I think I need to build a nodal network. node. That's why it's not doing it. But I probably should have waited a little longer to break truces, at least until I got back to 200, um, 200 Landsrad. You don't want to be truce with everybody for the duration of the game because they're getting all your tech for free. So at some point where you're safe enough, you want to make them buy your patents, and you want to break truce with them so they don't get the benefit of your tech. Now I got hit with spice. I have 4 spice with -1 spice per tax. Um, I got hit with that, but I got 3 spice harvesters. I should have 4. I don't know why that one's not harvesting up there. I don't know what I'm doing. It's really bothering me that I didn't make that spice harvester harvest. And oh, I know why. It's because that region up north is touching 2 tiles that are already noded. So what I have to do is I have to route my nodal network through the desert, which tier 1 green allows you to do that. And then once my nodal network runs through the desert, I can put a node in there, because remember, with Vernius, two noded regions cannot touch another noded region. Only one noded region can touch another noded region. And once I get that, once I build my node in this network, then I'll be able to harvest spice from this. So I'm going to build a node now. There you go. And now that harvester is going to harvest. And I can see people are, this little symbol right here means that somebody has bought your patent, and um, then it gives you an alert. It gives you like a little sound, and you can then perhaps like file another patent, or get ahead of somebody in that tree. But I think at this point in the game, that's it for patents. Um, and I am now looking to get my essential green text and then get the remainder of my red text, which the middle red tree for Vernius is essential because it gives you more fuel cells and it makes recruiting mech units faster. And then I picked up a Landsrad POI right there to get my Landsrad above 200. I'm above 200. I have 0 red tech, so I'm playing extremely greedy this game. But I think my plan here was to secure the bunker on the north side against Harkonnen, and I do that. So I didn't really go full rainbow here. Other opportunities presented themselves, and now I'm getting my upgrades on my units. I went +3 power, and I went with shadow, and I think I went with repair, cheaper repair. I probably should have went with veterancy on my engineer, but I'm gonna play Sater, so I'm gonna get the um, the 3rd slot, and now you can see I start to build my first mech units, and I buy some chom because I'm above 200. And I can easily bunker that spice field. I have 177 authority, so I can easily bunker that spice field. I'm getting a truce offer from Ekaz. I decline it, and he's getting pillaged and stuff. So I think I take this opportunity to sneak in some territory up north in Hark's backyard. Um, and don't forget to build your spice silos in between villages where you're harvesting spice, which is what I did there. And I managed to patent valuable trinkets, which is great. I'm the first one to research that. And I'm going to go up there and I'm going to capture, once I get a couple of those mech units out, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to capture um, those 2 villages and bunker those 2 villages. And I'm removing some of the yellow buildings that I built. And I'm going to make red tech there. And we'll see what my decisions are after this Landsrad. Okay. So I have 4. Now remember, when you remove your buildings with Bolik, you get a refund, a full Plasky refund, and a full Solari refund. So I'm going to build my 3rd one here in a second. Now that I have 500 Plascrete, I was just short on a little bit of Plascrete there. And this is a nice region to capture because these 2 territories, I'm just going to put nodal networks on both of these. So I made sure I had enough authority to capture both of them at the same time. And Hark doesn't like that, so I'm going to try to get my I put my airfield there. I'm going to try. Now this is like stylistically like a bad matchup for me, but if I can get these regions noded before Hark can do anything about it, I get my hero out. So Sater is the hero that gives you an extra armory slot, and he gives you stealth. So he stealths your engineers while your army's fighting. You just keep your engineers stealth, and they have to burn a scan. So Sater is, I'm gonna use him to assassinate one of those um, executioners, and then he goes back into stealth, so they can't see him. So my engineers are gonna heal my army, and my node is gonna finish on that northern network, and now I have two nodes attacking his army, and even though he has sleeper agents going here, the nodes are going to do so much damage against him, and I recruit faster than him because I have an automatic manufacturer, which is the tier 3 red tech in the middle. Um, Sater's going to go in, he's going to assassinate that unit, right? And then he goes back into stealth. So Hark lost pretty much everything to wipe my army, and I lost a bunch of suboids, which are no upkeep units and they only cost manpower. Now to remax, I need Solari, and he's gonna bail here. I've got two suboids and Sater, and there's just some gunners here, and suboids are actually not bad against ranged units, and so I kind of pushed back Hark here with a bunch of suboids, and the only reason why I did that was because I had a good nodal network set up there, and you have to plan your expansion really well. So I'm building the fusion plant, which is essential for Vernius because it recruits mech units faster, and now I'm gonna remake a full mech army as soon as I get my Solari. And by the way, the Hark player was a good player. I believe that's all cash in this game. So the only reason I was able to win that fight was because I planned my nodal network well. So I'm going to continue to expand. I've banked some authority here. So I'm going to continue to expand. I'm getting geothermals. Let's take a look at my tech tree here at this point in the game. So this is month 4, right? Look at Vernius in month 4. Vernius has all their essential reds, most of their essential greens, has all of their essential yellows, and is going to finish the entire red tech tree minus siege incentives by the end of month 4 probably, right? It's that's their advantage, and I'm only cooking 45 knowledge. Better Vernius players than me will have even higher knowledge numbers because they'll still have the rainbow in their main base, so they could be up at 60, 70 by this point. But yeah, this is looking really good so far. I like the way this game is going at this point. I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I don't have a lot of specials. I only have 2. So I'm gonna think about like where am I gonna attack here to get some more specials. So far I only have Volcano, which is a great region for Vernius, but you can see I start building crafts workshops right away because I know due to the limited amount of specials that I have, I'm gonna need to start cooking early. And I don't have any alliances with anybody else. So they're not, and I patented valuable trinkets, so I know that nobody else has that tech, so a slight advantage for me. So far the game is good. It's nice that they're in a conflict away from me, and I was able to wipe Hark. So this will give me an opportunity to potentially maybe take another spice field up north. And I think that's what happens in this game. I'm going to continue to pillage my neutrals for now, and I'm remaking my mech army. The mech army is comprised mostly of the ranged drone unit, which is called a railgun, and you get a couple of resonance drones. And the resonance drones upgrades you really want to get are electrostatic aura is like a really good AoE chip damage upgrade. You kind of want to make him always tethered. So you can see that Vernius has a need to be tethered with their army, meaning that if they're not fighting in a noded region or bordering a noded region, they kind of need to be like powered on. They lose the ability, they lose like some of their fighting power if they're not tethered. Their main ship always tethers, so um, if you have the main ship, it'll tether your army, and then you can see with Sater you get 3 army upgrades. So there you go with the resonance drones. I hook it up and I get the veterancy on the. I think I get the veterancy on the. I better get the I do get the veterancy on the flight engineer. fight engineer, and there you go. So now I'm like, this is like your late game stack, what it looks like. You could remove a couple of those suboids and get one more railgun. I went mech heavy here because I know I'm fighting Hark, like fighting mech heavy, which is their melee unit. I'm fighting Hark, who's gonna have a lot of stealth serbs, so I need some more tankier units. I go in with Sater and my fight engineers, so you can see the flight engineers are stealth, they're just healing in the back, and I'm keeping Sater out of combo. And I'm gonna liberate the spice field because I want it for myself later. I don't have the authority to capture it now, or maybe I wait until I get the authority to capture it. I start destroying his buildings. I'm working on his buildings. I keep my fight engineers in the back just in case he decides to come contest. I got a couple of assassins in the earlier Landsrad, and I'm keeping those on standby for his executioners. And again, the game is going great. I'm expanding. I've teched up. I've got good Solari production. I've got great bunkers. I've got a great army. I'm taking territory. And this is exactly what you want to do as Vernius. You just want to pick somebody to push back unless you have an amazing spawn and you want to play defensively because you have plenty of specials to win you the game. Um, and so yeah, like looking good so far. Liberating or taking the spice field. I'm liberating it initially. I'm gonna build another. I'm already building another harvester. I've got a bunker on my cruiser wreck down there. And now I'm thinking like I probably want to expand toward the middle. I don't need to go any closer to Hark's main. At least I don't think I do at this point. There's some sieges I can pillage. So I break my truce with Fremen. I'm going to send my mech units out to pillage that. I'm going to throw down my scav team. I don't have to do any micro as long as my fight engineers are healing my army. And I just let them do their thing. I'm going to pillage that siege. And I've got my folder relay, which is my main ship. I've got it out. The folder relay is great. It allows you to transport your entire army back to anywhere that's noted and anywhere within that tile. So you can be out in combat. It could be an unfavorable engagement. You can warp your army out and then fly back in after you've healed using an airfield. It's kind of like the extraction network for Smuggler, but it's not an operation, it's an ability. It's got a little bit of a longer cooldown. So if you manage your army well, you can engage, you can do a lot of damage, kill a bunch of units, then you folder relay out, and then you can come back and you can finish off the army if that army is forced to be stuck there, like if they're liberating one of your tiles or trying to make an aggressive play against you. So great main ship, um, up there with the with the overlords and the um, Chronoses of the game. I think it's a great ship. So I deleted some suboids and I'm gonna have now 65 out of 65. Just making the army optimal, and I opt to go triple double red, and that's what my final main base is gonna look like. I don't need an admin hall because I'm still making 12 authority because the thinking machines on Arrakis, they produce more than a normal agent would. So you can get great authority production with Vernius without the admin hall. Plus, by the end of the game, I'll usually have like every tile I need to win, so I'll just need to capture a couple of these pillageable regions. Anyway, I'm continuing to pillage sieges. I put my fight engineers in the back. They're going to be healing this army while it's fighting, and you can see these Fremen units. They just get melted um, because the fight engineers just out heal everything. So Hark is capturing um, Mount Idaho. I think I want Mount Idaho, so I think I'm going to make a play for it when it becomes available. Man, I got a tickle in my throat. Sorry, guys. I'm still recovering from a chest cold. So, sorry about that. I'm gonna capture that bunker west of my main. I'm gonna bunker that, and I think I'm gonna use that as an area to attack Harkonnen. I make sure I put a military base there. I grab another POI for Landsrad. Trying to get my Landsrad up as high as I can. Just maybe to buy some Chom. I mean, this is definitely not going to be a gov game of any kind whatsoever. And making that a bunker with the nodes. Then I'm going to capture that spice field next. I have 400 authority. You can see my authority generation is great. It's 12. That's like plenty. With Bronzo, these regions are pretty cheap. Buying Chom. You don't want to like go all out and buying Chom. You want to make sure you have some kind of Solari bank just in case your army gets wiped, just to remax. I don't have to worry about sitting units on my neutral tiles that were pillaged because there's no Atreides in this lobby. So I'm expanding, and you can see the way I'm expanding here. Like the plan here is to node up those two regions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete one of the nodes, probably in the region north of Volcano, because when you're building with Vernius in a region that's not noded, your production is halved. So I don't want the production in my special halved. Plus it's Volcano, it provides fuel cells. And that other region is a fuel cell region too, but the fuel cells in Volcano are doubled. So I'm going to grab these two regions at the same time. That's very important. I waited until I had enough authority to grab these pretty much at the same time. There it is. It's available now. So I'm going to build two nodes there right away just to make that bunker like impregnable. And now Hark doesn't like that. That's like 2 tiles from Hark's main, right? So this node's going to finish, and the mech units, they're going to come in, and once, again, like he doesn't have a scan. Okay, he does have a scan. So my engineers do go down. I try to get him out as fast as possible. But I have Sater alive, and he's just hanging out, and I just I mean, like, what can I tell you? Like, if you don't kill if you don't kill the healing units right away, it's really tough to do anything about the Vernius army, especially when you're fighting under a node. So, good engagement for me. Double node there. Put a maintenance center there, just to keep the upkeep on those 4 regions low. I'm going to put probably a military base up front. Now double turret, double node goes down instantly. I've got 5 spice harvesters. I've got like a great setup here, right? I'm not sure what the status of the hedge race is at this point, but I'm pretty sure I'm in a great spot to try to be able to win the game. I'm so confident that I took a bathroom break without pausing. Right? Like, where did I go? Okay, there I am. Alright, so double bunker, double turret, airfield goes down, probably 2, so I can reinforce there. And, like, you know, now I don't even know what I'd do now. Like, maybe pillage a siege. Like, I could just hang out. And we are going to talk about the obfuscation, which I'm not even sure what I obfuscate in this game. So at 10,000 hedge, Vernius has the unique ability to obfuscate. What that means is that he can take any tech on the tech tree and make it inaccessible to everybody. So common obfuscations for Vernius are parallel training, which gives everybody 2 training slots except for ECAS because their parallel training tech is on a different red tech. And why that's advantageous for Vernius is because with Fusion Cell and with Fusion Plant and automated manufacture, they recruit faster than everybody. So if you wipe somebody and then you obfuscate parallel, they can only recruit 2 units at a time. If you're extremely behind with Vernius, you can obfuscate crafts workshops. Like if there's a Carino that's cooking a lot of hedge, you obfuscate crafts workshops, and now the game, it just becomes painfully long. both of those obfuscations suck because they with one you can't recruit armies, and with the other one the game becomes long because there's no passive except for Hark and Smugs, who get passive from Hark gets it from a different tech and Smug gets it from a uh, their UHQs. Carino does also get 12 from his Emperor's Monument, but it's such a small number, like it's almost negligible. So some people have experimented with obfuscating, you know, various different red techs. Like you can take 10 CP away from somebody if you obfuscate the tier 2 red. Um, but anyway, like most Vernius players will wipe somebody, obfuscate parallel training, and they just continue to just like destroy them. Um, and at this point in the game, I'm ahead by 2,000. So I'm pillaging a Fremen siege, and this guy's coming in and he's liberating my spacing cruiser wreck. Um, I don't know exact. Oh, he had 2 sieges there. That's just crazy. Like he was gonna. So I'm recruiting militia off the map. I sent him a truce, and he accepts it, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know why he accepted that truce. I would have never accepted that truce. Um, Maybe because he has problems with the fact that Harkonnen is like right in front of his main. So Hark is attacking Ekaz. He kind of gave up on fighting me because I'm so far ahead. Now I'm buying Chom. I'm making 400 Solari a day. My army's maxed. I think I go in, like while they're fighting over there, I think I go in and I take Mount Idaho for myself while this is all happening. With my max vet army, my new ally, the Fremen. um, I can tell you that the ECAS player is Wyvern and the Hark player is Allcash, and I think the Fremen player was a Gentle Killer, and I think a Gentle Killer is pro. I don't know why Hark abandoned that. I don't think he could have defended it anyway, so he just abandoned it, which is something you should never do because it makes capturing longer if it's not a neutral. But maybe he was just so frustrated with the situation that he did that anyway. So now I'm gonna remake the nodes, and to me, it just makes sense to capture that region off of Fremen so that I can double bunker that and make it pretty much untakeable. Because Fremen cannot fight under nodes for the life of them. Maybe they can sacrifice their altar, which is their main ship, to take a region. And yes, that he definitely could have made Hark maybe drop that to make the lobby focus me a little faster. But I'm pretty sure like the minute I sign that truce, I betray him later, which is like, sadly, like the part of Dune Spice Wars is like skullduggery and betrayal, and like the more scheming and conniving at the right time that you just have to time your schemes perfectly. If you time your schemes well, it's like plans within plans. It's the whole theme of Dune. Then you can pretty much do a lot of winning in this game. So yeah, make my turret, make my node. I destroy the node on Mount Idaho to be able to node down to the other region. Hark is broke, so I offer him Plascrete for money, and he takes that because I need Plascrete to build out something. I'm not sure what. Maybe my military plant, my military factory, maybe a nuke, and it was a nuke, so I build a nuke out. ECAS is Gov eligible. He doesn't have the votes because I think we deny him Gov. And yep, he gets denied. And so I wait until I can betray Fremen until I get the votes, which will be a while. And but I'm set up definitely to take that region off of Fremen. Um, I'm heavily defended up north. There's really nothing Hart can do to take that region from me up north, those 2 regions. I don't know what I obfuscate. Nothing's been obfuscated yet at this point, but we're at 23,000. I'm pretty comfortably ahead, and I build another turret there, and yeah, I think I'm getting ready to capture that region off of Fremen, and it's just so tough for Fremen to fight. Their main damage dealing unit is the Fedakeen, and it's got low armor, and the turret and the node just absolutely destroy them. And they have the front line, right? I mean, you can't even send their like melee unit to tank, which is the warrior, because the Fedaykin is also a melee unit, so they're taking splash and damage from everything that's happening from the turret. Um, okay, so I think I'm waiting to get the influence to betray Fremen, and Hark is gonna go try to take. I mean, he has to. I'm 4K ahead, so I take my folder relay, and I get in there, and I just go in there, and I have so many units. I start healing my army. Sater is stealthing everybody. He's got no probe set up. Always got to remember to have a probe set up to fight Vernius. Those engineers need to die first, but this region you can't really take on by yourself. And with the Overlord, I had a hidden back door, one of the best operations in the game. It takes whatever mech units that the enemy faction has, and it makes them inoperable, and they actually start attacking your own units. And so you can't really fight Vernius with mech units. You have to get your ships, and you have to get uh, your drone units out of there. So here we go. So I wiped Hark. Fremen is gonna do an EMP, which is essentially against Vernius. So that's not bad, but he doesn't see my stealth units, and um, also, I obfuscated parallel training after wiping Hark, so I know for a while Hark's not going to be ready to fight. So I basically clean wiped Fremen too. He's not going to be able to clean fight. He's not going to be able to fight here for a while. So that you can see I can only train 2 units at a time, and 2 armies have just been wiped. So I have a lot of time before Hark is combat ready, and I have a lot of time before Fremen is combat ready. And at this point, I'm cruising to a win. Um, I have 24K. I have 3 neutral regions in the back, and I'm pillaging sieges. I didn't want to pillage that siege because I was max authority. Now you can see I started pillaging that siege. I don't want to float any authority, and I don't want to waste authority that I would get from pillaging that siege because you can't have more than 500. So, um, yeah, I mean, looking good here. Dune Gov, ECAS is trying to get some sneaky Gov plays. There's way too many votes on the table from the other factions. Good on Fremen for having Al Gaib Temple in and 500 votes. He's not even eligible for Gov here. He did do a good job of getting a lot of charters. I have Fremen rebellions all over my villages. Once I capture and secure this region, put a nodal network in there, put a turret in there, put a missile base over there, I'm gonna go out probably and clean up all these rebellions. And um, yeah, I mean this game is like it's a surefire. It's just a surefire win. I use my folder relay just to get over there quicker, just to wipe another siege. Um, Trying to pillage these sieges, get the authority needed to close out, and get the last 3 regions. Tax is coming up, so 26K with tax is going to give me 1200. So that'll put me at 27. With passive, I'll probably be at like 27.4, 27.5, and then 3 neutral regions is going to be 2400. So then I just have to hold out until my passive takes me over 30,000. So on this tax, I'm looking to close out the game and win the game. And you can see I'm pillaging sieges to get that final burst of authority. After I clear out these rebellions, I'm going to go and capture my neutrals. I have a nuke ready. I've got money in the bank in case I need to re-max my army. Hark is going to try to attempt something. I don't know what yet. Um, pretty clean game. Like, I mean, I think the one thing that I would have done different if I was the other player was the Fremen, when he had the chance to liberate my spacing cruiser wreck, should have absolutely done so. Anyway, Ekaz and Hark are going to try to go together, and you're going to see here why Vernius is such a problem. I'm going to probably kill them both here. I think I actually do. The first thing I do is I put the hidden back door so the Overlord becomes inoperable. They throw an EMP down. I don't necessarily need to fight in the EMP. So I'm going to bait them into the region without without well, I guess not. I bait the Hark army east. I am fighting under sleeper agents. The worm isn't good, so I end up not playing this great, actually. But I have a nuke cooked, and I have 500 authority in the bank, and taxes in 14 days. So I throw the nuke. They have to abandon their capture and/or liberation. I didn't give them enough time to run up the capture high enough so they could restart it after the nuke falls. Hark has got no army left, okay? And he's getting shredded by my node right here with whatever units he has left. I'm remaxing. I'm already at 54 with 2 units training. And I think I I'm cooking another nuke. I'm rebuilding my nodes at the devastated villages. And I don't know what Fremen is doing. Fremen really should be attacking me here. Um, yeah, I'm gonna fight off these last remaining Hark units, which is literally one trooper and his hero, and they're dead. And I begin capturing my villages to close out the game. Building turrets, building nodes. Ekaz is trying to get Fremen to attack me. I mean, this is such a massive win. I'm up by 6,000 hedge. This is crazy. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and again and try to liberate me on those 2 tiles. And I admin burden somebody, which makes it even longer to recruit now. I'm waiting on authority to capture that region. I'm at 28, so like if I just capture that one region, it costs 250 though. That's a lot. I rearranged my Arrakis infiltration to put all thinking machines on it to make as much authority as possible. I could be making more if I had admin hall here, just for the record. But I do rebuild a nuke in time to prevent them from liberating those regions, and I want to throw it as fast as possible. And I do, just because I don't want them to run up the cap to be able to restart the cap after the nuke is dead. And he totally blunders that. Like, that's not how you do that. So he screws that up, and that pretty much secured the game for me. Now I'm just waiting for the authority to be able to capture my last neutral, and I'm maxed army here, so I can fight and I can defend myself if I need to without the nuke. Fremen is trying to attack down there on a double bunker. Just Fremen is like impossible. He's gonna get clean wiped. I don't lose a single unit there, and he didn't even kill the militia but you gotta have like warriors, a bunch of donkeys, a couple of skirmishers, and feds to try to. And you could hopefully, like, you could position the warrior in a way where it could tank. It's incredibly difficult to do, to fight into a Vernius bunker as Fremen. Waiting on my final region to capture, to win out the game. It's 240 authority, and right there, I cross the mark, or 250 or something like that. I cross the mark, it's 250 right here, and I capture it, and that's it. That's the game. And that was a pretty clean win. So that's a Vernius guide. Remember, make your thinking machines early. Get holistic thinking. Go into lay of the land. Rush the 5k hedge. Get border defenses. Try not to die before you get the 5k if you're playing really good players. Use the hero with stealth to keep your fight engineers stealth. Keep them in the back line. Heal up your army. Make bunkers. And then win the game. And with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the Vernius guide, and we'll see you for the next video.